For deaf athletes and fans, the sporting experience is different.
Now, the Florida Gators are definitely not short on Heisman-winning quarterbacks in their history. There's Danny Werfel, Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach, Sans Visor in this bust outside Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and some outfielder for the Mets named Tim Tebow. Maybe you've heard of him. Mizzou's pretty famous for homecomings, and today it got treated to a special one, the return of Michael Porter Jr. to Columbia. KMU 8's Play of the Week from last week of FNF will go to battle the undefeated Spartans. The dynamic duo, Brevin Tyler to Javon McQuitty for a touchdown. Now, it's often said that sports and politics don't mix, but on this inauguration day, we're going to try to make that happen in a fun way. What do you think a presidential cabinet of current Mizzou athletes would look like? Secretary of Transportation, how about the man who ran for more yards in the season than any other freshman in Mizzou football history? Demaria Crockett. Mizzou athlete president is none other than Jaden Cox. Folks here in Gainesville are just ready for some football this weekend after last weekend's contest against LSU got postponed due to Hurricane Matthew. I talked with Robbie Fabry, Blues forward, after the game. He said he's never experienced anything like this before. The crowd was so loud. I asked him if you still had it in you to come out and run some routes for Jefferson City tonight, because I know you're an old Jay yourself. And he shut me down. I tried, Jim. I tried.
You know, a lot of Mid-Missourians work two jobs. Sometimes they're better at one job than the other. You've got the story about a guy who has to be really good at both jobs.
Definitely. Well, Coach Matt Maurice may help plan for touchdowns on Friday nights and lead the freshman team on Monday nights. During the day, he's planning how to keep us safe with the help of a four-legged friend. At first glance, Matt Maurice looks like any typical high school coach. When you dig a little deeper, you'll notice there's something different about this coach patrolling the battle sidelines.
I came and I seen him in the police officer suit, and I didn't think he was one of our coaches until they told me. I was like, who is this? Like, why is he here? Yeah, and they told me he was my coach.
Maurice is not just any police officer. He's the K-9 sergeant for Troop F of the Missouri State Highway Patrol, driving the roads of Missouri with his coworker of 8 years, Rocky the German Shepherd. While his day job may entail anything from helping fix a flat tire to chasing down bad guys, Maurice says his other job as coach is just another way to give back to the community.
For me, it is my taking something that I know, something that I enjoy, and trying to better the community that we serve. The motto is always service and protection. You know, well, the service for me is doing stuff for the community, i.e. coaching here at Battle.
It speaks of his character, number one, and it shows how much he cares about his community. You know, guys like him are guys that we need in our community. He really does a great job of developing character in those kids, and that shows from, you know, him being a highway patrolman.
I think it says a lot. I think he cares about this program that we have, and he cares a lot about us and what we have for our future.
For Maurice, the long fall days spent on the road with Rocky and on the field at Battle are all worth it.
I hope it's the fact that the kids got something out of it. They've learned something more than just football. I try to bring life experiences, not necessarily what you do in my day job, but bring them experiences that will help them grow into adults, help them see the bigger picture than just playing football.
Jim, quick update on both of Coach Maurice's jobs. He's led the freshman team to an undefeated season so far. Last game coming up Monday against Jeff City. And his pal Rocky set to retire in the spring after 8.5 years of service.
You know, a lot of kids like to follow in their dad's footsteps when it comes to sports, whether they put the shoe on or not.
That's right, Jim. For Hickman kicker / punter Andrew Wheelahan, it was never too late to enter the family business. Too often, the kicker is the forgotten man. Either the hero or the GOAT. But Hickman kicker Andrew Wheelahan has an unforgettable mentor on the sideline, his dad. However, this is no ordinary dad. Tom Wheelahan is a name well known to Missouri Tiger football fans. Tom kicked and punted for Mizzou from 1984 to 1987 and holds a nearly 70% field goal percentage as a Tiger. But he did it with a bit of a different style, barefoot.
And I always ran around barefoot when I was a kid, and I just started kicking balls in the backyard. I feel psychologically that if I kick barefoot, I kick it farther.
Tom's greatest claim to fame came against Colorado in 1986 when he nailed a Big 8 and Missouri team record 62-yard field goal.
I don't care about anything, but I don't want anybody touching 62.
Nowadays, Tom's feet serve a new purpose, on the sideline.
But the big thing is I can spend time with my son, and it's really hard sometimes when he goes in to kick.
He's more of a dad than, say, a coach. Like, I just talk to him about my day, and he's like, all right, Andrew, time to kick. Let's do this, and then we can talk after we kick. You know, it's like it's more father-son time than coach-athlete time.
Joining the family business was not always a sure thing for Andrew. The Hickman Jr. has always had a love for soccer and plays on the Hickman team. Football head coach Devin Brown has allowed Andrew to practice and play on both CUPE teams. As for Andrew's future, Tom knows the high schooler has his own script to write.
It's his journey. It's not my journey. But if, you know, they always say if you can pass, the reason you live is to pass your knowledge on to somebody else. I guess that's why I'm doing it.
And on his journey, maybe he'll even be able to top Dad one day. You ever think you'll be able to kick a 62-yarder like your dad here?
I'm going to say 63.
63. All right. Now, Jim, right now, Andrew says he does prefer place kicking to punting. He does a little bit of both. He's working his way up to hitting that 63-yarder. He's got a 31-yarder against Jeff City this year, so he's about halfway there.
And the Porters headed for Washington. It seemed like the dream of Michael Porter Jr. donning the black and gold was just that, a dream. But today that dream did become a reality. Michael Porter Jr. will be a Missouri Tiger, the do-it-all forward, originally committed to play at Washington under family friend Lorenzo Romar. But once Romar was fired by the Huskies, the wheels began to turn, and they turned pretty fast. Porter Jr. got a release from his national letter of intent at Washington. Then, new Mizzou head coach Conzo Martin made Porter Sr. an assistant coach on his staff just last night, and today the announcement. And more excitement than this Tiger program has seen in quite some time. We'll have much more on Porter's decision coming up at 6 and 10 on KOMU, so stay tuned.
St. Louis Blues entered today as one of the hottest teams in hockey over the last 10 games. They compiled 15 points in that stretch and sat only 2 points behind Chicago for first place in the West coming into tonight. However, they had to go on the road, which has been a challenge for the team so far this year. They're just 4-7-1 away from Scottrade on the season. Former Wild head coach and future Blues head coach Mike Yeo back in Minnesota tonight on the Blues bench. First things first, let's get to a fight. Blues enforcer Ryan Reeves gets into an early scrap with Curtis Gabriel. He's able to get in a few good rights before they're separated by the officials. Big forward, obviously one of the best scrappers in the league for the Blues. Now on to some scoring. Matt Dumba takes this pass at center ice. He glides into the Blues zone and buries it. Wild up 1-0 in the second. Then it'd be Nino Niederreiter, one of the best names in hockey for Minnesota. He scores this spin-around goal from the point. Minnesota goes up 2-0. How about that for some nostalgia? 30 years ago, Norm Stewart's Cats from Old Mizzou were on their way to a 24-10 record in a Big 8 championship. Fast forward to now, where the Tigers need to win out just to get to 10 wins. Talking with Coach Brown, he's been around. He knows what this rivalry means. I know you know what this rivalry means. Just year after year, Hickman, Jeff City, everything's a little more amped up. How special is it to be part of a tradition like this?
Well, it's really important to me because you think about 1911. That humbles you a lot to know there's been that many people involved.